Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Resurrection Cemetery in Affton, Missouri, just south of St. Louis in South St. Louis County, and I am here to visit the grave of a man who lived for a century. And yes, there are plenty of centenarians out there that are still living and those who have lived to be over 100, but this comes as a very special coincidence. I kid you not. And yes, everybody's definition of coincidence varies. I mean, there's a lot, like if you look in the book Ripley's Book of Strange Coincidences, and this one I found in a St. Louis history book recently, and I thought I'd visit because I plan to show this on Leap Year Day in 2024. So I'll explain more, and here we go. All right, this is section 48 in Resurrection Cemetery. So leap year, as we all know, happens every 4 years, and usually a lot of things happen on leap years, like United States elections, presidential elections that is, and many other major ones. But leap year babies, are also known as leaplings, share their birthday with about 5 million other people, while the rest of the population shares their special day with almost 21 million people. There's a lot of fun facts and opinions about leaplings, like they get to pick their own birthday, you know, when it's not a leap year. Or they can pick their age. Like, for example, on their technical 20th birthday, they can be 5 years old. The average baby has a 1 in 365 chance of being born on any given day. But the odds of having a leap day baby is 1 in 1,461. You heard me right, 1 in 1,461. So it goes without saying, Leap Year Day is indeed one of the rarest birth dates of all. It is also said that Christmas Day is one of those days too. But February supposedly has the lowest birth rate of all 12 months. Now, there were actually a couple from Brooklyn, New York that had a leapling in 2016 and again in 2020. And there's actually a few famous people who were leaplings, one of them being rapper Ja Rule, who was born in 1976, the bicentennial. Now, I actually knew a lady who was born on February 29th, and she lived to her 90s. Maybe you, the viewer, are a leapling. But recently I found out about a gentleman from the St. Louis area. He was born in Columbia, Illinois, but he spent most of his life in St. Louis. And he was not only born on February 29th, but he also passed away on February 29th. And this was 100 years later exactly. Yeah, I kid you not. The man who I'm talking about is George Keller. I was able to find some information about him, and I know he has a lot of surviving family members, including children and grandchildren and so on. George Keller was the son of Christian and Mary Keller. He was born on Leap Day 1912 in St. Louis, Missouri. In his early life, he was a devoted St. Louis Cardinal fan, and he enjoyed telling stories about each of the 11 world championships the team won during his lifetime. As a boy, he often took the streetcar from the Keller family home in Soulard up Grand Boulevard and then up to Sportsman's Park. He sometimes was able to gain a free admission as a member of a local boys club. He would also say that his favorite player of all time was Rogers Hornsby. Now, what he did for his career was he worked in the General American Life Insurance when he was 15 years old, and then he worked there for 50 years. And he started there in 1927. He married a gal named Roberta McLard in 1935. And since he was born on Leap Day, it became a lifelong running joke that George celebrated a birthday only every 4 years, making him eligible for his first legal beer when the 84-year-old turned 21 in 1996. So here is the final resting place of George Keller. He is buried with his wife, who passed away in 2001. He is also buried with one of his daughters, who passed away in 2008. Her name was Sandra Green. I do not know who Jean was, unfortunately. I was not able to find any information about Jean. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. I mean, obviously they're a relation because, yes, they're all buried in this plot. But like I was saying, I mean, he had his first legal beer when he was 84 years old, and coincidentally that same year, 2 of his grandchildren turned 21 the same year he did, in 1996. But he did spend his later years in a rehab facility in Columbia, Illinois. And because of the unusual circumstances of his birth date and age, he was profiled in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch 1 week before his 100-year birthday came about in 2012. And it was said that he would ask on and on, okay, when am I 100 yet? When am I going to be 100? Well, on that very day, as his family was preparing for his centennial celebration, he passed away exactly on Leap Day of 2012. And many people deem it as a very unusual coincidence, and I'm one of those people. I mean, if it's not a coincidence, then I don't know what is, to tell you the truth. But rest in peace, Mr. George Keller and his wife and daughter Sandra Green, as well as Jean, who are all laid to rest here in Resurrection Cemetery. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this special Leap Year Day episode of Historically Marked. If you know any strange coincidences, then let me know in the comments. All right, thanks for watching this, and I'm Jason, signing off.